Welcome everybody once again. Look who is back in town. Gosh, you guys, I go away for a couple of days vacation and look what you do to the place. Listen, Amy, Ian, it's good to see you guys again. And look who we have. We have Serebra Sana, who's crashing the party. We're happy to have her. Mark from Global Agenda has stepped away for a few minutes. We'll catch up with him in about 10 or 15 minutes. Hi, Serebra. How you been?
I'm great, Aaron. How are you?
Well, I could be worse, I suppose. You know, I wasn't one of the people caught up in the melee in Las Vegas, and it's just been one of those. I mean, literally, I get back in town. I'm away for 3 weeks vacation. I get back in town on Friday, and what do you know? You know, all's quiet on the Western Front until I get back in town. It's like I can't leave you guys alone for just a few minutes.
As I said to Amy and to Mark, I'm only just popping in just to say hi because I've been so like not visible, and I just figured I wanted to say hi to everybody and let you do your show. But I just wanted to say thanks for still being around and remembering me.
We love you. We've all been fans and followers of yours for, I don't know, a couple of years.
Absolutely.
You're welcome in here anytime, Serebra. Anytime. You can crash our party anytime.
That's really sweet.
What have you been up to lately?
Oh, it's crazy nuts over here. I've been super, super busy. You know, I struggled for a long time to sort of like find regular work as a freelancer, and I finally got some work going a couple of months ago, which means I'm like running all the time now, working, which is good in a way, but I mean, it's like 7 days a week. I just don't stop. So it's part of why I'm not making.
And are you still doing the subtitling work?
Yeah, I do subtitling work. I do linguistic work. I even teach tango. I teach French and English. I mean, I'm one of these like jack of all trades. So when the phone rings, they could be asking me to do all sorts of different kinds of projects, which is nice. It's variety. But I, much as I probably should. And because nothing is like fixed and sure, it's stuff like you never want to turn a job down because like you gotta keep it in.
Oh, I know the feeling. I've been a contractor for 20 some years. I know the feeling to have to employ yourself, and sometimes you're busy like crazy, and sometimes you get tons of free time. Ian and Amy, I have not spoken with you guys except for a brief Skype conversation the other day. How have you guys been?
Good, Aaron. It's glad to have you back, buddy. I'm glad you made it safe.
I'm very glad that you're back.
I don't know if you've got a collage of pictures set up of your trip.
I do.
Would it be interesting to maybe just scroll through them while we're chatting? That'd be cool.
Sure.
No, wait. Ian was in the canyon. Who was in the canyon?
I was.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was like awesome stuff.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, that canyon. I've been a lot of places and I've seen some amazing things. That was Antelope Canyon in northern Arizona, which I'm not kidding. That was without a doubt one of the most beautiful, one of the most photogenic places I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And
it was glorious.
I will, just while we're chit-chatting here, I will do a screen share and show you a couple of pictures.
Yeah, let's just look at something to look at instead of our ugly mugs, right? Our ugly icons.
I didn't necessarily, I don't really want the, show or whatever to be, about me, but there are, hey, by the way, Serebra and anybody else listening, listen, let me tell you this quick story. Amy and Ian, you guys already know this. Okay, I take a 3-week vacation, and while I'm talking, I'll go ahead and just open up some of these cool pictures that I have here. I take a 3-week long vacation in the RV. We drove 5,000 miles. We saw tons and tons and tons of cool stuff. And as soon as this page is done opening and loading, I'll be able to open up some stuff here. But anyway, the main goal, this is newspaper rock. This is a famous petroglyphs in Utah. The main goal on this vacation was to come visit Devil's Tower, Wyoming. And anything after that, we were just wide open. We were up in the air. Anything else would have been fine. That was the main goal. We had 3 weeks. We knew it was going to take a long time to get there. We knew there was stuff to see between here and there. We didn't know exactly what. We covered some freaking ground, man. We saw Badlands, South Dakota. We saw Mount Rushmore. We saw Devil's Tower. We saw Arches National Park, or now Arches Canyon National Park in Utah, which was unbelievably amazing. I wish I had a GoPro for my motorcycle helmet. Before I switch pages, this is newspaper rock. Check this out. Does that not look like a dinosaur to you right there? Is that a turtle to you, or is that a dinosaur? Because Nancy and I go back and forth on this one.
Turtle.
It's either a giant turtle
the turtle.
or a dinosaur.
Oh no, turtle.
I think it's a dinosaur, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the length of the legs, turtles are never depicted with long legs or long necks.
The turtles have fins too, don't they? So they would have included that one.
And I don't know what dinosaur name it is, that the one that has the club for a tail, but it almost looks like this one is depicted as that kind, the one that has the club on the end of his tail. But anyway, you know, we got creepy alien looking images all over this thing. It's just, oh, not to mention the shameless freaking graffiti. Look at this fucking garbage up here. Damn it.
You guys know Gobekli Tepe?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, some of those drawings look like they're from there. The weird sort of alien-shaped head one.
Look at this from 1902 and 1904. You know, just shameless graffiti, man. Seriously, that's pretty tragic that people are that kind of ignorant.
Are some of those drawings authentic, or is it all crap?
They're sort of scratched into the surface of this rock, which has a coating. It's a blackened coating. It could be a char from maybe an old forest fire. I don't know exactly what caused the black. It's on the outside of this rock. It's very, very thin. It doesn't take much to scratch through the surface to create these images. But it's underneath of a giant overhang. I think it might be a good look at it. Well, this is sort of looking into where the rock is cut. There's a big chip out of a huge piece of this mountain, and it's sort of naturally covered. It's got its own overhang, you know, like a little roof. So here's another curious image down here. These 3 planetary looking bodies here. Sun, moon. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's depicting, but it's 3. It's either a galactic alignment, or maybe it's depicting, you know, the collision of Tiamat with the planet Mars. I don't know what that is, but it's another really curious one down there.
But this stuff sorry, this stuff looks like open air, right? It's not like inside.
It's absolutely open air. In fact, if you look at the very bottom left corner of the screen, you can see there's a railing right there, and that's actually an oak tree. Those are the leaves of an oak tree right there. So this is literally open air. It's outside. It's unprotected.
Wow. Because usually the drawings are like way like in these incredibly remote places in the, you know, in the bowels, pardon the expression, of these caves. Go so far in. So it's strange to see them out in the air like that.
So Serebra, I know that you saw the video of the canyon. I'll scroll through some of the still photos that I have.
Amazing. Amazing.
Because I actually copied most of these I took myself, but at the very end of this slideshow here, I got some of the last photos from Nancy's camera on her phone, which is a brand new phone and a new camera, which is better than mine, and it was able to pick up the colors.
Good.
That's all sandstone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sandstone.
That's what they call a slot canyon, and you can see the heads of the people down below for a little bit of scale.
Oh, wow.
And in some places, it was so narrow that it was only one person at a time that could walk through it.
Wow. And how deep is that, Aaron? Like from surface?
At its deepest, it's like almost 500 feet.
Wow.
And we were there about 1:30 in the afternoon, which was almost high noon, which was the sun was almost perfectly shining straight down into the canyon. It was coming down on an angle, and it was making these magnificent colors.
Wow. That's incredible.
And at the end, Nancy's phone was able to pick up reds and blues and purples. And I was literally videotaping the whole time, and she was taking snap photos.
But your eyes, what do you remember the colors being in your memory when you were actually looking at it with your eyes?
Well, what we're looking at here is very close to what I remember my eyes seeing. The colors represented by these images. Now, while I'm recording in video mode, I can still hit the camera button and take a snap photo in the middle of while it's actually recording.
Wow.
So this is what we're looking at, is me hitting the camera button during record mode. Oh, by the way, these are bullet holes.
Yeah.
These are from the days of the Old West, when bandits were hunted by posses, and they would go hide out in these canyons, and they'd have gunfights in these canyons. These are actually bullet holes from the Old West days.
Now, this was created from water?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can see sort of like the way it was washing against the rock. I mean, you can just see it flow, like you can imagine it flowing through there.
Yeah, I find it interesting that the shape of the rock left behind by the water actually resembles ocean waves.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not expressing myself that way, but you can sense the water going through it.
Yeah, if you just took a still photo of the surface of the ocean when it's like really choppy, this is what it would look like.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really narrow, and it gets a little bit dark. Look at those colors.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is this, you said that at its deepest it goes down about 500 feet?
That's what my guide told me.
But do you know if there's only one that, or because I recently, just because I love all this kind of stuff, and I watched a documentary that was explaining how you've got these caves, but if you consider going from the surface, you start going vertically down into the earth, right? And you have these structures like you're seeing, and you can see the water has, shaped them and stuff. And then it's like you shift and you keep going down, it stops and it goes down further, almost like steps, like going down steps. And they said it would make like almost like a Niagara Falls kind of thing, where the water would continue to go down and seep in to the caves, and then it would like give way and make another cave, and then the water would keep going laterally and then vertically again, and then laterally and vertically, always looking for the cracks.
Yeah.
To exploit. So I was just wondering if this followed that pattern, or is this like a one-off?
Well, it's not a one-off, because this is in an area of the United States where there are several canyons that are similar to this. This is Upper Antelope Canyon. There was a whole other tour. By the way, this is Indian reservation land. You cannot explore these on your own. It's tour only. So there's a Upper Antelope Canyon. There's a Lower Antelope Canyon. There's another one called Arches Canyon. This is very, very near Grand Canyon. This is literally rubs right up against Lake Powell, and that whole area. It's just what's a Bryce Canyon. It's all literally right there in that whole area. So geologically, it's a lot of sandstone that gets occasional heavy floods, and that's how these things are started and created.
Any fossils? Does anything?
This whole area was loaded. Well, by the way, this particular area, no. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I mean, there's like, it's also, this area is very close to what's known as petrified forest. And it's not really a forest. It's just it's a desert with a bunch of weird looking rocks, and they all happen to be petrified trees. and they're all broken and they're laying on the ground. So that's petrified forest. But we did drive on our way to Devil's Tower. We drove through South Dakota, which is a huge, huge dinosaur fossil area. So it's just littered with fossils and museums of fossils and bones and just tons and tons and tons of fossil, that whole area.
Awesome.
And at the end of this, a couple more. Here we go. There's a good looking one there.
Wow, wow, wow. Is that looking up? That's obviously looking
Oh, yes. This is looking straight up.
Okay.
And by the way, I usually was in the zoom position while I was filming as well. So this is literally not, you know, that bottom area where it gets black. That's not like right above my head. That's many, many feet above my head where you even start to see color because I'm zoomed in.
Oh.
And you can, again, you see real strong wave patterns, like looks literally actually like a still photo of you know, ocean water.
I think I commented on the video that in the documentary I watched, the specialist can tell in which direction the water was flowing by the marks left. You know.
Yeah, by the strange wave patterns on the rock. Like for instance, this piece, and now I don't have a pointer and I don't have a mouse. You just have to. There's what looks like a, I don't know, that thing in the back of your throat, that little dangly thing, what it's called. But there, in this image, it looks like there's one that almost looks like a scorpion tail curved down to the left. So that indicates that the water is actually moving to the left as opposed to the other direction. You know, from right to left is the direction of the water.
Right, right. Now you can see it. Yeah.
But most of these pictures are spectacular. Here's some color. It gets a little gray. This depends on the aperture. As I would pan up and down while I'm, you know, videoing, my digital camera on my phone was changing its aperture as the light changed, as it was exposed to more and more light. So when I would pan down, it would change to the more gray, and when I panned up, it would open the aperture, and you could get the full colors like right here.
How did they get you down there? Have they?
You literally walk right into it. There's a spot at the beginning of my video where I show literally the first 5 seconds of the video. I show the trucks where everybody gets dropped off, and then we literally just walk right into it. It's at ground level.
And then you just continue to make your way down, like naturally following.
It's flat. It's flat all the way across. The walking path on the bottom is sandy on the bottom, and it's a completely flat bottom. This is a 5-minute video. I think this is the video of me literally just walking out. Because as we walked in, it was crowded, and you can see the color. There's bullet holes.
Continue coming forward, please.
There, you see the ground there? It's literally just flat, sandy bottom ground. It's easy walking, and we just literally, there's another bullet hole.
Speaking of flat, we got a whole flat Earth thing going on in the chat right now. As soon as you started saying it's flat, this guy goes, "Yep, it's flat." LOL.
It's like I'm looking for the model that explains the southern stars mirroring the behavior of the northern stars.
We're not here to talk about flat Earth tonight.
Yeah, we're not even going to go there. Let them have their fun in the chat.
Right.
I don't even care.
Leave that for the chat box.
Yeah, all right.
Want to go
You're right.
Because then we'll end up with an hour on that. So
here we go. All right, here's a picture that I had to copy from Nancy's phone. Look at those colors, man. My video camera was just not getting those colors.
Wow, amazing.
Nice.
I mean, that's unaltered. I literally took my phone and literally took a photograph of Nancy's phone to get this picture.
That's awesome.
We had no Wi-Fi and no cell phone signal, and I was like, "Send me that." She's like, "I can't send shit." So I'm like, "Hold it up."
The purples.
So that's just the effect of sun and shadow and.
Yep. Look at this one. Look at the purple.
On the minerals, right? It's the minerals that highlight, isn't it, Kurt? That light up.
Look, I'm not a geologist. I don't know exactly how or why. I have a fair understanding of how light behaves and how it gets refracted and how it gets split. And look, we are talking about sandstone, which is loaded with mica and other crystals.
Yeah, crystal. Yeah, the
So,
mineral crystals. Yeah.
you know, depending on the angle of the light, the strength of the light, you know, like you said, it could be, you know, certain minerals and certain portions of the rock that are going to reflect more of one wavelength than the other.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, but, you know, we've got red, blue, purple, yellow, orange, brown.
Same as Ian's logo. Look, look, look. The colors are the same as Ian's logo. I'm just looking at his little icon on the screen. At the same time, it's look, look, look. It's the same colors. You see it? Look at Ian's logo.
Yeah, it's the same colors. See the crystal. It must be to do with the crystals, I bet.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys want to see chemtrails from tonight over Paris as I was walking home?
Yeah.
Now, how do I do this?
I'm sorry, did you want to show something?
No, I was just asking if you wanted to see chemtrails over Paris as I was walking.
Sure.
Yeah, screen
Sure.
share. Go for it.
Now I always. How do I do?
Before I stop my
arrow on the left, click that to screen share.
Before I stop my screen share, I just want to show the picture and image that I'm showing right now. This is the Dinosaur Valley. This is in Glen Rose, Texas. This is the riverbed where the dinosaur footprints.
Wow. Oh, are those? Is that a footprint like right above the little triangle triangle thing?
Yes. Right below. There are two footprints. There's two of them below it to the right, and there's a couple up above.
Dinosaur Valley State Park.
Those are all footprints right there. Those are dinosaur footprints right there.
Texas.
Amazing.
Wow, they stay there.
You're looking
The
at
only time I've ever seen.
dinosaur tracks in the river.
Wow.
Wow.
Ian, can you set Aaron to be like stuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is. He is. Is it not showing him?
Here we go.
Well, every time you guys talk, I can't see what's going on. Let me check the actual video.
I got him highlighted.
Back there.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's coming out okay on the show. It's just that when in the Hangout, it's not.
No, it's not doing it for me.
Weird. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
weird.
they're messing with us. Who knows?
Who knows? Google Hangouts are always wonky anyway, so.
Yes, they are.
Can I show you my
Pretty cool.
chemtrails and then I'll let you guys do your thing? You want to see the chemtrails?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
let's see.
Yes, yes.
Give me one more second here. Okay, it's all yours.
Yeah, I just have to figure out where
Unhighlight
I got it.
Aaron and highlight Serebra.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Sharing. So do you see you see Paris with the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, so
let's see
this
those.
tonight.
There's
This is
the arch.
No, this is wait, let me explain. This is the this is where you know when they had the shooting at the Louvre, right? This is near where that happened. This is actually the little arch which faces to the left. It's you don't see it, but the that pointy thing. Can you see my cursor? I don't know if you can see my
Yes.
cursor. You can.
Yeah,
Okay.
we see it.
This
Yep.
is facing the Seine. The Seine River is behind this building right here. This is one of the legs of the Louvre.
Okay.
So this is the little arch that's called the Arc du Carrousel, the carousel. And the shopping mall is on the ground. Okay. And if I had turned around to the left, that's where the Louvre, the pyramid is, and all this. So here's all this crap going on in the sky. That's blurry.
So did it slowly spread out over time or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Persistent
weird.
contrails are basically chemtrails.
These are chemtrails.
No
Because
other way to explain persistent contrails.
look at all this stuff. I don't know if I can zoom in. Look. It's weird, like a comb. It looks like a comb. Can you see all that?
Yeah, you can see them dripping.
Yep.
Yeah. The wind like blows right.
Yeah, no, it's just
Looks
weird.
like they're dripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, this was like this sort of weird comb effect. It's not natural.
No, it's not.
No.
Take
Now,
a peek at the.
let me ask you this. This is a video that I've wanted to make for a long time. What do you see there?
You know what, Serebra? I do that all the time. Every time I'm in a hotel room,
Yeah.
anytime I see in any business, in any office, any commercial space I walk into, check the carpet. I see what I see there is I see the eye. That is an eye. I see eggs. I see an eye.
Yeah, and Amy, what do you see?
Well, I saw eggs and eyes initially, but I also see flowers.
Right, and Ian, what do you see?
See Vesica Pisces all through that, and I also see it just looks like eggs, like a.
The one on the bottom that looks like a complete flower is similar to the lotus flower. And Ian, I'm glad you mentioned the Vesica.
What about Mark? Mark, what do you see? Is Mark still here?
He's not with us right now. He's got something to take care of. Any minute now, he'll be joining back with us.
All right, well, guys, let me run this by you. Now, this is what I see. All right, these are chairs that I see every day in the metro. I sit on these chairs. Okay.
I see Ezekiel's wheel.
All right, but listen, let me tell you what I see. All right, and think about this. What I see is the camera is, when you do selfies, like the camera is angling down onto the person who's taking the picture. So I'm seeing the camera is angling down. So these images are looking up at the camera. And I see like...
Looks like a ninja mask.
Yeah. These are like bonnets, like ski bonnets.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's looking up.
Like a visor on the eye.
They have toques on them.
Ah, I see what you're seeing now. Yeah.
Okay. And they look like scary, like people that would knife you. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They look like
yes,
that would knife you. And the proportions, these are like, stylized body proportions. Look at the shoulder and the head and the attitude, right? Now look at them. Look at this. Look at this one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You see what I mean? It looks like, sure, like on an initial thing. Oh, I see flowers and they're egg-shaped and they're...
No, I see a masked assailant.
Well, this is
yes.
sit there and this jumped out at me. I'm like, oh my God, this
wearing
is
a hoodie.
The hoodie, exactly, with the visor and just kind of, yes. All right. So anyway, that's
right. Wow.
So stop screen sharing now, and
good eyes. Yeah.
Have I stopped screen sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So Serebra, as somebody who lives in Paris, in Europe, could you tell us dumb Americans your take on what's happening with the Catalonia thing? Because I've heard plenty of stuff. I haven't honestly had time to dig into it. I just got back in town Friday, and then the Vegas thing happened on Sunday, and then all of a sudden nobody's talking about Catalonia anymore.
Yeah, well, you remember Brexit.
Yeah.
You remember the Scottish referendum? Remember the referendum? There's a lot of rumbling here. There's been a lot of, internal rumbling that these entities, national entities, want to break off, right, and be their own thing and control their own destiny, because Europe is just erasing, identity. So what happened in Spain is Catalonia has always, had this independent sort of desire to separate from the rest of Spain, and they basically held a referendum. They called a referendum to vote on it, and the government in Madrid was just not having it, and so they sicked their riot police on the referendum. There was violence. I mean, serious violence broke out, and trying to steal the ballots and beat up people who wanted to, not trying to, they successfully beat up people who were trying to vote. And, you know, the president of Catalonia made a speech last night saying, you know, we're going to keep moving forward. We're not going to drop our hands on this one. And they were calling for mediation. And France wanted, you know, the party that I sort of, you know, when I'm out in the streets with La France Insoumise, and they were like, we need to offer our help to them as a mediation. So they were open to doing mediation in Catalonia, but Madrid just doesn't want any part of it. So they're trying to like suppress it. And it's just another instance of the people wanting to have their voices heard and to decide their own destiny. And Europe is just not having any part of it.
They want a referendum. Is what they want.
Well, they did the referendum. This is what they were doing. They voted it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was like 80%.
Yeah.
It was like the vast majority of people voted for independence. They want to break away.
Right.
So now it remains to be seen. As of Monday, something was supposed to be happening this Monday that it could start the process. But basically, I don't really know what's going to happen because as we've had referendums in France, you know, you vote and then the government overrides the vote. So it's kind of like fake. You know, they go through the motions of having the referendum and then nothing changes.
Right.
So,
Right. Oh, speaking of nothing changing, what's your new prime minister there like? Is he same as the old boss? Or is it president or prime minister? I can't remember.
We have the prime minister and the president. It's President Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah.
And he named he's got a funny name because he has a name that's like
Macaroni?
No, the prime minister is Edouard Philippe. Edouard Philippe. Okay.
Speaking of nothing changing, what's your new? Well, somebody's got their sound on.
Sorry,
Same as the old boss.
give me a second. I'm sorry.
Is it president or prime minister? I can't remember. So is it the same as the old boss then, Serebra?
No, it's worse. It's worse.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you guys.
Oh dear.
No, it's worse because now we have the hands of Bilderberg. Bilderberg is running us because Macron was invited to Bilderberg.
Well, of course, they all do.
Nominated the prime minister who was at Bilderberg, and he also nominated this woman who was the minister of the armies for a very short period of time, but she was also at Bilderberg. So all of a sudden, as soon as he was elected, we had the 3 top posts filled by Bilderbergers, which was
Yeah. Same as the U.S., same as Canada, pretty much.
But no, the president, he gaffed royally yesterday. He actually said the F word. People were like, "Excuse me, Mr. President."
Oh no! Hey, you got your own Trump over there then.
Well, he's just a crass. He's uneducated. He's just going through the motions. You know, I say he's like remote controlled. He's remote controlled, and if you leave him to his own volition, he comes out with, you know, shit like, you know, don't you have something better to do than fuck up, you know, fuck with companies was basically what he said yesterday about these people who were protesting, you know, unemployment and all these reforms. I mean, we weren't protesting against these work reforms and it's not just work reforms, it's reforms across the board that he's shoving down our throat with these executive orders, and he's just destroying the whole social fabric.
So do you think their Hegelian dialectic has worked then with the Paris attacks, do you think? Do you know what I'm talking about? Their problem, reaction, solution? Do you think it's actually worked? Have you seen a lot of, you know, draconian things happening?
Oh, I mean, I'm speechless. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, I got grabbed 3 days ago. I got grabbed by one of these wand witches. You know, the you know, the people with the wands that they wand you.
Yeah.
They're all over now. So I was walking in to take. I mentioned this in my video. I was walking in where I always walk to get the metro, and there's this post. The wand witch stands there, and she wands the people. And you have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit. And I never stop. I just walk right by. I don't open my bag. I just walk by. And this particular day, the other day,
She wasn't having it.
well, it was a woman. It was a different person. And there's actually 2 doors. You have people going in 2 doors. So when she's usually looking to the left door, I go in the right door. And I'm like, you know, didn't see me. But that day she whipped around her left arm. She just whipped around and grabbed my upper arm, my left arm, and like squeezed and was like, "You stop!" And I'm like,
Whoa.
Wow.
yeah. No, she grabbed me good. And
Jeez.
and she's like, "Bag check," and I'm like, "Check of what? What?" You know, I was just like, "What?" And she's like, "Bag check." So I opened up my bag and I had my umbrella and everything was in it. Shit started falling out of it because it was like too filled. But anyway, so I just took my time again because I'm not gonna, you know. But anyway, so yes, no, the cops are everywhere. And as I mentioned in the last video that I posted, I came so close to one of these guys with the FAMAs, and I was so close I could see the plastic. And it looked like, I mean, it was just like I was coming around a corner, and obviously I couldn't see who was coming around the corner in the other direction. And it was these two, you know, soldier people. And so we literally brushed arms. So I was that close to the weapon. And in the fraction of the second that I saw it, I thought to myself, that looks like toy plastic. It looks like a plastic gun. It didn't look like heavy metal, you know, a solid. It looked like plastic.
No, really?
You know, that wouldn't surprise me.
Wild. Yeah, really.
Honestly, it would not surprise me. I don't know if they do this in Europe, but they do it here in America. And I spotted a few of them on my road trip. You know, we have freeways that are, I'm sure you have similar freeways that are out in the country. They're separated by a median, a grassy, sometimes it's a hill, sometimes it's a divot, and then sometimes there's like guardrail between the north and south, you know, traffic. And then there are these breaks every so often. Every couple of miles, there's a turnaround, and it's official use only. It's the police and the emergency vehicles. And this is where the police usually hang out when they're radaring people looking for speeding traffic. And sometimes way out in the middle of nowhere. And believe me, I just got done driving through 5,000 miles of the middle of nowhere. Rather than post an actual officer in an actual vehicle that's running with the air conditioning, etc., a guy on the clock, they'll just park a police car there. Sometimes it's an old police car. It's not updated. You know what I mean? It's a dummy.
That's what we have here in Canada.
They drive along and they say, "Oh shit, there's a cop," and they slow down.
Yeah.
It's effective. My point is, it's a fake and it's effective.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah.
So in your case, you're talking about the potential of these soldiers walking around with plastic guns. I'm saying, fuck that. That wouldn't surprise me a damn bit.
Well, I mean,
because they know that us citizens, us general citizens, are not pulling off these events. We're not pulling off shootings. We're not pulling off bombings. We know who ISIS is. We know it's not who they say it is. They know that there's no credible threat. They don't need to carry around real guns. Plastic guns would be sufficient to scare people.
Yep.
no, I mean, there was a report about a good few years ago that said that they aren't even armed, that they aren't locked and loaded. They're not all these weapons are operational, shall we say.
Right.
That sounds like code language that says, yeah, they're not even real fucking guns.
Yeah, they're plastic.
Yeah.
I mentioned this, you know, in comments or perhaps in my second to last video, is what I'm seeing now is there are younger and younger guys that are, you know, carrying these weapons, and you just think to yourself, how much training have they really had to be carrying these powerful assault weapons? You know, in the center of town, how stable are they? You know,
that's a good observation, because it's the younger crowd that will more readily follow orders and not think.
Well, you got to think.
They don't have the life experience, and they don't have the life experience behind them to really put any thinking into any useful practice anyway.
And
no offense to young people, but you know what I mean.
A lot of young youth play violent video games too, and they're trigger happy.
Right, and the campaign all up. You know, the few, the proud, the Marines, those propaganda campaigns to
Yeah.
Be all you can be.
Yeah, well, now we've got our own version in French of that kind of crap, and the poster campaigns are up, so they are
joy.
they're recruiting these young people. So My feeling is they're too young and too inexperienced to have the authorization, because some of the specialists said not everybody has the authorization to carry every type of weapon. You have to be authorized to carry the different types. And they also said that those particular assault weapons are not even conceived for inner city use. They're supposed to be used out, in battlefields where you're shooting at great distances. Whereas if you're up in close contact, that's not your weapon of choice. It's not the best choice of weapon, from what I've been told.
All right, Serebra, let me ask you a sort of a philosophical question on a grand scale. We know that these events are fake. We know that terrorism is largely fake. We know that bombings, shootings, et cetera, hoax, false flag, whatever, they're fake. Okay. And yet the police precincts around the world, including Paris, all over Europe, the Western world, I don't know about Russia, China, they're already probably on the ball with that shit. But our police forces look like the military. They're amping up and ramping up the equipment and the personnel on a daily basis, which is really scary. I mean, Canada, passive-aggressive Canada looks like America if you just pit, police force against police force. My question is, do you think, because we know that it's fake, we know that the citizenry are not the real problem, and yet at the same time, they're ramping up the police for some reason. Do you think that there is something very, very big in the works? Something very big, something global, something that is going to affect populations in virtually every country, where the police force is going to be needed with high personnel and heavy armor.
Well, Aaron, it could just be a financial collapse, right? That they would need it in a financial collapse, wouldn't they?
Look, various scenarios would do. A food crisis, a severe
Project Bluebeam.
Bluebeam would do it. An actual asteroid, a fake asteroid, a nuclear war, a fake nuclear war. Look, all we need is a power down, an EMP that would affect just simply the power grid of America would be enough to affect global food production.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Something big that's going to affect the whole world, that ultimately is going to wind up with the populations of these countries in uprising of some sort. A lot of people talk about race war. I don't even want to go there. I don't think we're even close to a race war. But I do think that a global version of Venezuela is right around the corner. I think people lining up with grocery store shelves empty, their kids are hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
else?
The uproar is growing. Okay, the uproar and the unrest is growing, and I'm seeing it here. We've got strikes that are happening pretty much every week now at the moment, and they're going to continue because people really do not want to just sit there and take the shit that they're throwing at us, all these executive orders. They're continuing to give benefits to the rich people and quibbling over €5 a month for these people who get aid for a housing, kind of thing. They're taking €5 away from these people. And they're like, when you got like €300 for the entire month to feed your family and keep a roof over your head, €5 is €5, right? And they're like, oh, well, the landlords just have to lower their rent by €5 in that case. And I mean, it's just like the world is backwards. The things that they're trying to push through.
Yeah, it is.
To answer Aaron's question, though, I think what they're doing at the moment, they're doing it everywhere simultaneously. So there's obviously, I wouldn't use, let me just go back a step. To say false flag or hoax, I actually prefer the word orchestrated, right? Because it's something that's not spontaneous, right? You don't just have Joe Lunatic go knife two people in front of the train station, right? I tend to think that it's orchestrated in the sense that it's that problem, reaction, solution.
Exactly. But that's my point, though.
I understand that. I'm just saying the choice of language, because when you say things like hoax, it's a buzzword. False flag is another buzzword. They're valid words. I am not saying they're not valid.
No, I understand.
What I'm seeing right now is an orchestration planetary orchestration.
Staged is what I like to use. Staged.
Yeah, staged orchestrated means
Psyop.
but the way they're doing it is the people are generally reacting in the same way wherever they try to do this stuff. So you've got the people in the streets speaking up. You've got people wanting to do their referendums to separate from what Europe is trying to do to them. And just they just signed the thing last Tuesday. They have agreed to put these measures into common law, which are the measures of the state of emergency, because the state of emergency is technically supposed to expire on November 1st. So they're covering its major CYA at this point because they're not sure they're going to be able to renew it, which explains why you've got the knifing happening in Marseille and insanity, because coincidentally the thing happened on Sunday night, and come Tuesday we were discussing it and passing, we were supposed to write it into common law 2 days later.
I didn't know about this event, so yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's all very clear. If you take 2 steps back and look at the big picture, there is problem, reaction, solution happening, and all of these draconian measures going down. I think it's just for them to try to suppress the mass uprising that's bubbling right now.
I have a feeling that that's not it. Thank you for that well thought out answer. I have a feeling it's something bigger. Look, we've had protests and we've had riots. All countries have had to deal with this. They have sufficient police force, they have their militaries, and they have always been able to put down a major spontaneous riot if it were in fact spontaneous. They've always been able to show up with their cannons, their water cannons, their rubber bullets, their sound cannons, what they have technology today. And what they've always had the ability to crush any major protest or riot. I mean, just think of the LA riots after Rodney King. You guys remember that shit? That was spontaneous.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was a real freaking riot. People were going ape shit all over the city.
Yeah, but I think the big thing, I think in this, the difference in your way of seeing like something massive that is in the works, I'm not seeing it as something, one unique massive thing, because they're rolling out a massive thing right now, just in little bits. They're rolling it out bit by bit. I mean, last Sunday, let me just give you a crazy example. Last Sunday, all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, nobody really even knew about it, but Paris made it forbidden to drive into Paris with your car. Okay? They just had like zero publicity. Nobody really knew about it. And a friend of mine was like, guess what happened to me on Sunday? And they were like driving in with her whole family in the car, and there was a whole traffic jam. And like, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh, today's Sunday, no car Sunday for Paris.
What?
And yeah, no car Sunday. It was like no car Sunday. And the only people that, I mean, it was just insane. But what they're trying to do is to push people away from cars.
Well, it's Agenda 2030. That's what it is.
Right, and
yeah,
Agenda 21, 20, whatever you want to call it.
Into a situation where they want control. And just this week, with the No Car Sunday thing, they were like, oh, and we're going to be debuting our driverless cars. Here we go again with the driverless cars.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, and a friend of mine, I'm going to see her tomorrow morning. She was all excited because she just got her driver's license for the first time. She's like 30. She's got her driver's license. And she's like, this is amazing. Now I don't have to wait for the bus, and I don't have to take the train, and I can go wherever I want. I'm like, your car is your freedom. You decide when you get in it and you go somewhere, right? So once they start taking away and trying to make you disgusted to take your car, they take away parking places now. You know, there's no place to park your cars. They're trying to disgust you into not using your car. And once you buy into the driverless car bullshit, and you're like, oh, and they had people, yes, because we're also in the midst of 1 month without a car. So they have like these guinea pig people who are biking everywhere they go now. And it's like, oh, but with my kids, I think I'm still going to have to keep my car because it's
Serebra.
Yeah.
The city I live in, Victoria, on Vancouver Island, we have bike lanes, and now we have bike lights too, traffic bike lights.
That's because people on bicycles don't normally obey traffic laws.
Well, here, if you're on a boat, you have to abide by the code of
Hey,
the.
Aaron, answer your question about the what could big happen. It could also be gun confiscation, couldn't it?
No, well,
Well, I guess that wouldn't
I don't
apply
think
up
that would be
here,
the
though.
trigger. No, I think gun confiscation would be the after effect. It won't be the trigger. It'll be like Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane whatever, where they come in and they take all the guns from the people in that area as a result of the hurricane. It won't be the trigger. It'll be the after effect. The gun confiscation will be the after effect.
Speaking of hurricanes, look what they just did with the hurricanes, earthquakes, all of those things in series just recently. I mean, there was like evidence of
Well, it's hurricane season, though, so we can't rule that out.
yeah, but they were also detecting some strange patterns and some strange things. I haven't looked into it sufficiently, but
Despite what some people may think of the Dabu channel, he and others have noticed. Look, there's Weather War, and there's all these other channels like Dutch Sense. And look, I really like Dutch. Okay, nobody can talk shit about Dutch. But the thing is that there are people who are watching these radars, and they're noticing these strange waves of energy that have never been seen before. And sometimes they wash across half the freaking globe. And they pinpoint. They narrow down and they pinpoint to one specific location, like a harp machine or for something like that.
They're arrays, yeah.
You got to understand that there's a lot of things happening simultaneously, and the people are catching on. And in all of this, power struggle that we're seeing, the militarized police and all that stuff, it's because they need to make sure that the little sheep stay docile, because the sheep are not happy about all this going on at the moment. We're discussing the CETA, the CE, the Canadian trade agreement, free trade agreement. That was all in discussion this week. The TAFTA is in discussion. The work reform is in discussion. They're giving,
and everybody's talking about Vegas.
Yeah, and Vegas happened.
Oh, yeah. The Benghazi hearings just started this week too. Did you hear about that? No, of course not.
You know what else was going on was the trial for the bomber. Gosh, I'm sorry. It just left my brain.
Oh yeah, the guy at the Oklahoma City.
No, not Oklahoma City. Is this Khalif Masood maybe? There's a federal trial happening this week.
Right.
Of one of the supposed suicide bombers of one of the supposed recent attacks. And forgive me, but there have been so many I can't even remember right now.
Isn't that ironic? Because here in France, what's opening the big case about the lone surviving player in the Paris attacks from 2 years ago? That's all opening as we speak.
Really?
Guy
Jesus.
Belgium tracked him down to Belgium, and he's been in a prison and and now his trial is finally starting like as we speak. So all these things, there's so much going on.
We have another problem. Apparently Mark can't get back into the chat, into the hangout.
I was wondering, what's taking him so damn long?
Why can't he get back in?
He says he's not allowed to join this discussion.
What?
Okay, well, I'm going to hop over to Mark's other channel. Not his other channel, but his main channel.
Let me let you go. I'm happy to have been here to chat with you guys quickly, but go and do your show. Have a great thing. And
It's 8 o'clock for me plus 6 hours. It's 2 a.m. for you right now, isn't it?
It is, and I have to work tomorrow morning, so that's why I got to be up early.
Serebra, you're wonderful for staying up. We love you, and thanks for popping in.
Absolutely.
Well,
thank you so much, and sleep well.
Yeah, you all too. Take care, and eyes and ears open all the time, right?
Okay.
Okay, well, Serebra, we'll talk to you soon.
Be in touch real soon, guys. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I only just muted him because I heard a bunch of shuffling noises, and I just.
Well, yeah, but he had to go off.
He had to go do something. I think he's probably rendering his video or something.
Told me was he had to stopped hearing what we were saying. So he restarted his computer. Now he can't get back in.
Huh. Well, he is on satellite. His Wi-Fi is a satellite connection, and he has expressed to me previously that he's had occasional difficulties with the signal. Mark, I know you're listening. Hopefully the sound is coming through, and somebody say so in the chat, please. I just dropped you a link in your messages, private messages on your main YouTube channel. So you can try that link. Other than that, buddy, I'm not a techie. I don't know what else to do. God damn it. I hate that happens. I don't even know what else to do to get him in here. So let me see. Just in case, I'm going to go over to the chat and tell him the same thing.
What's your Google Plus name, Mark? Just type it in the chat if you're still there. I'll just send you an invite through Google Plus.
All right, Mark. I just typed this into the chat. And Mark, your new link is in the YouTube messages. Hey, Ian, give Blue Blood a wrench.
Give
Rebel Rhymes a wrench.
Yeah, I was going to say give Rebel Rhymes
Give
a wrench.
Greatest Potential a wrench.
I thought I already did this before. Why are they off now?
Give Big P.
Well,
99.
you gave Rebel a wrench's Chirpy Chimes, and he's not.
He had another channel. He's not on Chirpy. He's on RR. So
I don't
give
see
Blue.
their wrenches when I give moderator. Do you see their wrenches on there? I don't see them.
It'll show up after they comment.
Yeah, when they have to comment again, it won't show up in past messages.
Yeah, it won't show up on past messages.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So give Blue Blood, give GP, give Greatest Potential one. I would say go ahead and give Allison Twiss. Who else did I already say that I'm not thinking of right now? Big P, we know Big P from a long time ago, way back.
Yep, there's Greatest Potential, got the wrench.
RR Plan B, that's Chirpy Chimes. Give him one.
Global, go ahead and try and come in again, Mark.
And by the way, go ahead and give Mark one. Who else is in here that we know for sure? A couple of new people. Depolarized Sheeple, new person I'm not familiar with. Hello and thanks.
Depolarized
He's saying he can't get in.
He's the flatty.
Google is fucked.
Mark, have you tried deleting everything after the question mark in the link? I know you're not getting the 403 error message, but that's the solution when there is a 403 error.
Mark, what's your Google Plus handle? Just type it in the chat.
Big P said 5G is a link to self-driving from BMW. Interesting. You know, that's they're gonna need a 5G or a 6G or a 7G system if they're gonna have driverless cars everywhere and they're all connected to the fucking Internet of Things. My view, 1875 said, I saw an article about self-driving trucks. The human being is being phased out. You know, that's interesting you said that because I recently watched the new movie, the X-Men, the new movie Logan. And it's in the future. It's in, I think the setting is 2029, which by the way, makes me think, you know, 2030 agenda. So the setting of the movie is 2029, and in the movie there were driverless trucks. The semi trucks, you know, the 18-wheelers, they were all driverless in that movie.
Crazy.
So GP, you got your wrench. Okay, cool. Ian, go ahead and give Allison and Big P a wrench as well. Let's just fill the chat room with wrenches of people that we know to keep the trolls out, so we don't have to. So that we'll have our friends keep our moderation happening for us. All right, okay, so what else do we do? How do we get Mark back in here? Mark, I don't know what else to do, buddy. I don't know what else to do. All I can do is give you the link in your different places, and you can try it from different angles.
Well, I need to know his handle so I can send him an invite.
Is he still there?
He's probably lingering. He says he can't get back in. Mark, did you try the link in your YouTube messages? Did you try to delete everything after the question mark? God dang it. Did you try to go back to Skype and get in through that link? Did you try everything? Did you kiss your computer goodnight last night? I don't know what else to do, buddy. This is fucked.
Very.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I want to move on to Vegas. I've got, as you guys know, I usually come prepared with plenty of notes.
Yes.
I want to show you what I have. And by the way, I stopped taking notes on purpose because I was gathering too many. This event is just freaking loaded with shit.
Isn't it though?
Look what I have. Look what I have. Not only do I have pages that are completely full of notes, but I have Post-it notes because my pages were full and I wanted certain information in certain topic on certain, you know.
Oh, jeez.
So I've got notes on top of notes when it comes to Vegas. This event, let me clarify something for those of you in the sound of my voice. For all of you YouTube channels that are complaining about people who are using the wrong term, some people are saying, no, this is a false flag. It's not a hoax, it's a false flag. I got a comment under one of my videos just today from Sandra Textera, who made the statement that it's a false flag, which means it's real. It means it. And I said, no, Sandra, a false flag means that they blame someone else. That's all that means, people.
Yep.
So for those of you out there who are complaining that everyone's using the wrong fucking terminology, get over it. Who cares? It's irrelevant. The fact is, it's fucking fake. It's fucking staged. It's a fucking psyop. I don't know if people died. I don't think they did.
I don't think so either.
I'm not going to say no one died because I wasn't there and I don't know for sure. I do know that these people don't mind killing people to pull off their bullshit, especially on Harvest Day, okay, the 1st of October. It was 91 Harvest. It was Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. It was a harvest ritual. Now, whether it was an actual ritual sacrifice, many of you who know me for a long time, you probably know that I've said many times before that I do think people die in these events. Many times it's the patsy and no one else. Sometimes they'll kill people because it's their fucking satanic ritual sacrifice day and they got to have their blood sacrifice. So, in my opinion, somebody probably died.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think that anyone died in the public part.
Thank you. Exactly. That's really what
yes, they have slaughtered people, but in the public side, all we get is bullshit. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Narrative is all bullshit. Yeah.
You can't have 450 families. In this case, 573. Oh, and by the way, those numbers, let's get those numbers straight for once, okay? And by the way, we are talking about official sources who are not to be trusted with anything, ever. But according to official sources, It's what, 58, 59 dead, and 500 and what, 20 some people. So we're talking a total of 573 people, something like that, right?
Yep.
Right.
All right, let's get this straight. Also, according to official sources, 490 of those injured people were released the next day.
Yeah.
Or within
Right.
24 hours, a day or less.
Right.
So let's be very clear. When the news or the media, even if 575 people were injured, from what? I fell down, I broke my finger, I fell on a railing, I stubbed my toe, I twisted my ankle, I skinned my knee, I was trampled in the melee. What injuries are we talking about? When the news says, oh, there's been a mass shooting, there's 575 people injured, automatic response in the brain of the public is like, oh, fuck, 575 people have been struck by bullets, and they might be minor, they might be major, some people died, but they're all bullet injuries. No, that is not the case. Okay? That's just not the case. 573 people might have been injured, probably all because they were trampled and, skinned knees and broken ankles.
Yep.
And again, we can't trust official sources, so none of these numbers are to be trusted. None of them.
So, Aaron, should we restart a new broadcast so that we can bring Mark in?
I would really hate to do that. I mean, we're in the middle of
everybody that's in the chat will know to go there, and I'll just make it part 2 on the.
Could do that.
That way, we could probably get back.
If that's what it takes to get Mark back in here, then let's do it.
Okay, so everybody in the chat, we're gonna go just check my channel. I'm gonna restart a new broadcast. Okay, it'll be named part 2.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say so in the chat, just in case.
Yeah, just in case they're Is Mark?
All right, everybody, we're gonna restart the broadcast, hoping that Mark can get back in. So everybody, this broadcast is going to end in a moment. Ian's going to start a brand new one within the next 3 to 5 minutes, and we're just going to go from there, everybody. So I guess this show will just have to be a 2-parter.
Can we get a hold of Mark any other way than this?
Skype. We talk to him on Skype.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, Amy, go ahead and Skype him and let him know that we're going to restart the broadcast. I don't know what else to do, man. This is fucking bullshit. All right, I see that, Ian, you just... Yeah, I'll go ahead and Skype him personally.
I just want to see if he responds.
Oh, he's not even on his Skype. He's online, but he's not on his Skype is closed out.
Well, it's saying he's away, but you can still be there and show that you're away.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
So I don't know whether he's really away or...
Hey, by the way, just as a completely off topic, did you guys get that little video message I sent you on Skype?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, what you were talking. Hi from Where were you again?
It was somewhere in New Mexico, I think.
Albuquerque. That's it.
Oh yes, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Albuquerque. Yeah, and I discovered by accident that you could send a video message on Skype. I didn't know you could do that. I was like, oh shit, cool. Hey guys.
Cool.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. All right. So Mark, hopefully you can hear. Mark, hopefully you saw the message in the chat. And everybody in the chat listening right now, we're going to restart the broadcast and we'll be back in a few minutes. Ian, do you want to go ahead and get that started? Get one going on another tab before we close this out right here? Try to keep the lag as small as we can.
I'll get it all ready to go and then I'll, That's strange.
Right,
I got kicked out like that. I don't know.
I'm going to go
Yeah,
ahead
that is
and
bizarre.
All I did was I just muted him because I could hear some background noise.
Well, I don't think it was that.
And then
I
all of a sudden
doubt it
he
was
couldn't
that.
hear us. And, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Mark.
Well, we're not
Yeah.
getting any kind of response from Mark.
yeah, I know. I don't know if he's online. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he just threw up his hands and
No,
and
he's
left.
probably restarting his computer. He's working on something. I'm sure he's working to try to get back in here. I doubt he threw his hands up.
Didn't.
No, I know he's working on it. Mark, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're going to restart a new broadcast here any minute. And everybody listening, just give us a minute. When this broadcast shuts down, just, give it a minute and come back. Kai, Dan, you got to go? Okay. Catch up in the morning? All right, buddy. See you later. Joanne Galvin. Nice to see you.
Oh,
Allison Twist got a wrench. And just let us know, Ian, when you're ready to go with that.
Wish we had his phone number. Or
Oh,
something.
Mark's just saying that he's there and we will be. He's ready for the new link.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll see you in a few minutes, guys.
All right. Are you ready now, Ian?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody in the chat, we'll see you on the next broadcast, part 2 on Ian's channel in next couple of minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and hang up, and I'll get the link, and we'll be back in a minute. Bye. See you guys. Bye.